Hello, I'm here in the wonderful Watnall Park again. Thought I'd need somewhere quiet to do this talk. Right. It's regarding the young girl here in Dovecourt, Liverpool that's been shot dead. Truly awful. Truly awful. As was Rhys Jones's death, a 12-year-old back 15 years ago here in Croxteth, Liverpool. That was truly tragic, awful, heartbreaking. Right. What did the police say? Lessons have been learned. Usual platitudes from politicians, all the usual stuff. Have lessons been learned? Well, they haven't, right? Lessons haven't been learned because this victim's even younger. Plus, as gun crime went down, as it stopped? No, it's got worse, right? Now, in the police's defence, authority has been taken away from the police by the Liberals, right? The Liberals in control have removed barriers that we had in society that maintained law and order, decency and common sense itself. Those barriers have been removed by Liberals, whether they're in the Tory or Labour government, it just doesn't matter. Right? The barriers have been removed, right? Now, once you remove those barriers, oh yeah, in the name of freedom, equality, justice, the barriers have been removed, but the complete opposite has happened, right? And the police will tell you that, but they can't say nothing. They're not going to say, they'll just do what those that pay the wages tell them to do, right? So the barriers have been removed by the Liberals, and so the authority has been taken away from the police, our teachers, even in the family home, authority has been taken away. There's been rebellion pushed on the TV, and also the most destructive form of TV, I believe, is the soaps. In the soaps, everyone's a loser, everyone's a failure, they're dysfunctional, they're adulterers, they're backstabbers, they're no good people. Whereas, so wouldn't it be good if the soaps, instead of pushing the lowest common denominator, we're pushing the highest ideal, right? Saying grace over dinner, or before they have dinner, saying grace and the Lord's Prayer and all things like that. And a nuclear family all sitting there together, mum, dad and all the children, but they're not. It's all dysfunctional. Who writes these storylines? God knows. Right, so, and also getting back to the family unit, these kids today, they're a product of the 90s dance ecstasy scene, or should I say the victims of it, right? The victims of it. Once that dance scene came along, I was there, witnessed it, got the t-shirt, I worked all the doors during that, right? It was so destructive, it was unbelievable. People on the door, I knew, were splitting up with the girlfriends, partners, or wives, and they had children, let alone the actual people that were coming to the raves, those that had kids, that didn't last long. They were off partying with someone else. So these kids have been left, not making excuses for any bad behaviour. I'm just trying to explain what's happened. It's been the breakdown of the family unit. That dance scene's been the most destructive music genre ever, right? You listening, DJs? It has. It's been the most destructive music genre ever, right? So when they were coming out the Quadroon Park in the early 90s, they didn't go home. They went to Angel Beach. It took about 3-4 days before they finally woke up, right? Who was minding the kids? Where were the kids? And these, as I've said, these kids now, these feral youth, they're a product of the 90s, early 2000s, dance scene, ecstasy scene. Of course they are. And also, not only did they not have fathers in their lives, they've seen the mother who's had God knows how many sexual encounters they've probably experienced, witnessed. That can't be nice. Because you know, when I was a kid, my first hero, and he still is, was me dad. These kids haven't had any dads. They're victims as well. And I'm not making any excuses for bad behaviour. Certainly not. So don't be having a go at me there. I'm not. Right? What's happening is not a natural phenomenon. And it's happening because the family unit has not only been broken, right? Not only that, it's been replaced with an unnatural alternative, a destructive alternative. Dance music, ease, drugs, and all the usual stuff. Silly soaps pushing nonsense instead of the highest ideal. Now, unless we get back to pushing the highest ideal instead of the lowest common denominator, this is going to keep on happening. You can't fix it, Merseyside Police. You know you can't, because the family unit is broken. And until that's fixed, and until the Liberals put the barriers back in place that they removed, that took away the authority of literally the police, teachers, and even in the home, you're not going to fix anything, right? And sadly, this is going to happen again. And sorry, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm speaking the truth as I see it. It's really tragic what's happened, but trust me, I've been in the lion's den. I know how all this works. And the police can come out after this poor girl's murder and say lessons have been learned. But lessons won't have been learned unless people in the police, high in government, these councillors and MPs start speaking out, speaking the truth, instead of worrying about refugees or whatever. This is going to continue. Rhys Jones's parents, what must they be thinking after their lovely son was killed in such a horrific way? What must they be thinking? Well, lessons haven't been learned. Right? The same thing is continuing. In fact, it's got worse. How many murders? A young girl shot and everything else. So no one is learning, because the main problem is the family unit is broken. And as I've mentioned, there's many reasons for that, but some of the aforementioned have definitely contributed to this. I hope I articulated that as best I could. It's not easy walking around Walton Hall Park. There's no script to this. It's just Joe Owens thinking on his feet. And there you go. Okay, thank you.